Now then, how are you doing? This is my first video. So today I'd like to explain what I want to do with this channel, and then later I'll show you a part of my record collection. So basically what I'm going to do with this channel is I'm going to be focusing on Elvis Presley records in Japan, and also CDs and other items too, but mainly Elvis records in Japan. And occasionally I'd like to talk about other aspects of Elvis's music too. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'll show you 10 records from my Elvis Japan collection, and these are all quite interesting in one way or another. I'm not going to talk about any of them in any great detail. I'll save that for future videos when I look at very specific areas of Elvis records in Japan. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is this item here. So this is Reconsider Baby from 1985. And this is interesting for a couple of reasons. First of all, on the back of the obi, if you look carefully, you can see there's a discography there. Most of these are LPs, and a few are cassettes. And at the very bottom, you can see the CDs that were available in 1985. So there were a lot of LPs still available in the mid-1980s. Most of these had been available since the mid-1970s. And the other thing that's interesting about this record is the vinyl itself. So I'll just turn this lamp on. So unlike the American pressing, this one is not on blue vinyl. It seems to be on black vinyl. Well, it is on black vinyl, but if you actually put it up to the light, it appears brown. Now the next one I want to show is this album from sometime between 1975 and maybe even as late as 1985. Golden Hymn. So on the front you have the His Hand in Mine photograph, but on the back you've got the How Great Thou Art picture, back cover. You might be able to see the song titles here, and there's a lot of song titles there. They're all in Japanese, and this album actually contains both the His Hand in Mine album and the How Great Thou Art album. The inside cover, like a lot of Japanese albums, is a gatefold cover with the lyrics, English lyrics, on the right side, and Japanese liner notes and song titles on the left side. And what's interesting about this album is the second record, the How Great Thou Art record. It's on the RCA label. And the track listing is the same as the American version and other versions, but the running order is different. So the first track on side one is By and By, and then it has How Great Thou Art, So High, In the Garden, If the Lord Wasn't Walking by My Side, and then Somebody Bigger Than You and I. And on side two it starts with Run On, Farther Along, Stand By Me, Without Him, Where Could I Go But to the Lord, Where No One Stands Alone, and then finally Crying in the Chapel. And the existence of this album is one reason why it's quite difficult to find a Japanese pressing, original pressing of How Great Thou Art. So this album first came out in 1970. This is a later pressing, but by 1970 His Hand in Mine had already been available for several years, but How Great Thou Art had only been available for 2 or 3 years, so it's quite difficult to find an original pressing of How Great Thou Art. Okay, the next item I want to show you is this. Okay, so this is the first issue of That's the Way It Is. Now, the reason why I referred to 3 titles, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, That's the Way It Is, and Elvis on Stage, is because this album has had 3 titles, those 3 titles, in Japan. So first of all, this red writing here, the red text here, this says, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, in Japanese. So that was the first Japanese title for this album. Now, of course, you can see the English title at the top there, That's the Way It Is. Now, when this album was reissued shortly after this copy, it came with a red, white and blue obi, and by that time the title had actually changed to Elvis on Stage, so this text had disappeared and changed. And Elvis on Stage is actually the name of the documentary in Japanese. So here's a copy of the record. You may have to take my word for this, unless you've spent a long time learning how to read Japanese, but the label says, the Japanese text says, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, Elvis Presley, from the MGM movie Elvis on Stage. So this is the standard gatefold copy with the colour portrait on the inside. I'll show this in more detail in another video. The reason why I wanted to show this copy today was because my copy comes with some extra photographs. Now, I've only ever seen one other copy with these photographs. There are actually 4 here. And I'm not sure how the photographs came to be with the album, whether they're promotional items or whether the album was sold with the photographs at movie theatres, I don't know. But you can see at the bottom left side you've got the RCA logo, and on the bottom right there's Japanese text which says, from the MGM movie Elvis on Stage, or That's the Way It Is. So here's the first one, and what I like about these photos is each photograph has a different outfit. So here's Elvis on Stage, very familiar photograph. In fact, these are all very common pictures from That's the Way It Is. In the red shirt and the stripy pants. And finally, a great picture from the rehearsal session. Alright, so these photographs are what I wanted to show more than the album, but once again, I'm not sure how the photographs came to be with the album. The next album I want to show you is a soundtrack from 1965, the Girl Happy soundtrack. So as you can see, this cover has a completely different design to the American, British and other countries' pressings. And this could be because they wanted to get Shelley Fabares on the front. I'm not sure why, because all the other soundtracks tend to have exactly the same cover photos as the American pressings. On the back cover you have the Japanese liner notes and song titles. The album actually came with a separate lyric sheet. And the record itself is on the Victor label, as all Elvis records were until 1968 or 1969. Now, this album is actually quite easy to find. I think it sold quite well back in the 60s. And there are 2 covers basically. This one is on a very thick card cover. So this one dates from the late 1960s, maybe about 1968, 67, 68. The original pressings are on a much thinner card, and on the back they will have foldovers at the top and at the bottom with little cutaways in the middle. This one does not have the foldovers, and it's on a very thick card, so this is slightly later pressing. Now, the next one I want to show is from 1958, and this is the original pressing of Elvis's Goldon Records, and you can see it has the LS catalog number in the top there. Any Japanese album with the LS prefix to the catalog number is pretty collectible, I think. This one is actually probably the easiest to find in all the LS albums. The back cover is basically the same as the American cover. It has the liner notes in English. And it also came with a lyric sheet here, English lyric sheet. And I'll show you the record, because the reason I'm showing this really is because it's in such a nice condition. As I say, it's not a difficult album to find, but it is difficult to find in such nice condition. Okay, a rare original from 1969. Any guesses? Yeah, here it is, from Elvis in Memphis, the original red and white Obi. Yeah, surprisingly hard to find this, especially with the Obi. The back cover has Japanese liner notes and also the English lyrics at the bottom. The RCA label with the groove near the outside edge of the label. And this one has one more interesting thing going for it. The Obi here, just down here, makes reference to a color portrait, and that is this one here. So my copy actually comes with the rare color photo, and on the back you have the current discography. This is all written in Japanese. So yeah, it's a difficult title to find on the original pressing, and especially with the Obi and the photo. The next album is from the same time period as From Elvis in Memphis, and this is the original copy of From Vegas to Memphis, From Memphis to Vegas, with the red and gold Obi. Familiar back cover. And I'll just show you one of the records. In person, orange label. And this is a little different from the American version and the UK version and other countries' versions, in that if you open up the gatefold, you can see the familiar pictures, but it actually opens up further to reveal Japanese liner notes and a couple of photographs, and it opens up again to reveal the lyrics in English. So if I can somehow show you that whole thing, that's what it looks like. So the records actually sit in these pockets here, just in there. And the reason why I refer to a heavy album getting even heavier is because this thing weighs a lot. So if you can find a copy of this and you're buying from a Japanese seller, then you should expect to pay a lot in shipping, because it's very heavy. Now I'd like to show you an EP from 1958. It has the English title, Elvis's Christmas Songs. So the cover is very similar to an American EP, but the American EP only had 4 songs. But on this one, if you look at the back here, you can see there are 6 titles. White Christmas, Here Comes Santa Claus, Silent Night, Blue Christmas, Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me, and O Little Town of Bethlehem. And the record, of course, is on the Victor label. Okay, so the last record I showed you, the Christmas EP, that's quite a hard record to find. The next one I'm going to show you is much more difficult to find. Maybe the rarest record I'll be showing today, although the last one I'll be showing could actually be even rarer. So that's another EP, and this is Western Caravan Volume 6. Now, if you look at the titles on there, you'll see that only one of them is by Elvis, Baby Let's Play House. And if you look carefully, you can see that it says Baby Let's Play House with You on the front cover. The label actually gets the title right. This is also on the Victor label. Maybe you can read that. The title is correct on the label. So you'll notice that this EP and the previous EP, they both have small hole in the center, and they have this 3-prong push-out center as well. So quite often you can find these records, these records with this 3-prong center pushed out. On the back cover, you can also see the lyrics as well. And the last one I'd like to show today could be the rarest of all the records I'm showing today. In fact, it may be a one-off. Okay, so this is a copy of His Latest Flame and Little Sister, of course. And it comes in the original Victor sleeve. And the insert has the lyrics on the back, just like all other copies of this record. So what's unique about this record? If you look very carefully here, it does not have the 3-prong center. So all Japanese singles have the 3-prong center, which I just showed you. Not EPs. In the 1960s, EPs came like this, with a solid center. But this is the only single I've ever seen, not just this record, but of any Japanese single from the on this Victor label. It's the only one I've ever seen with a solid label without the 3-prong center. So this could be, it could have been a mistake when the record was being manufactured. They maybe just forgot to stamp out the area around the 3-prong center. But at any rate, this is very, very unusual and very, very rare. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because the video is getting on a little bit longer than I expected. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about Japanese Elvis releases or any comments, then please feel free to drop me a line in the comments section below. And please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, because it's my first video and I very much appreciate your support. See you next time.